He is here.
Obi-Wan Kenobi? What makes you think so?
A tremor in the Force. The last time I felt it was in the presence of my old master.
Surely he must be dead by now.
Don't underestimate the Force.
Hey, yo, family. We're back. That was pretty good. With a brand new episode, 127. Your boys, Shawn the Butcher, Vertebrae33 in Madness Pod. How's it go? May the Force be with you, Vertebrae33.
And with you as well, Shawn. I'm good, man. I'm just about to open up my lunch here. I've got my Star Wars lunchbox. What's
Please
in there?
tell me there's a bologna and cheese
Oh,
sandwich
there's
this
no
week.
bologna and cheese, but it is the original novelization of Star Wars.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that. All disgusting.
You can check this out on our YouTube. We're doing visual bits on an audio podcast. You can see the picture of the book of the lunchbox on our socials for the premiere podcast. We are at In Madness Pod on everything. In Madness Pod at gmail.com. In our next episode, we are dipping into the mail sack to hear what you think about one of our last 2-part movie episodes for a while, Star Wars.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, what?
We could talk about that at the end of the episode.
We'll talk about it at the end. That's a little teaser. We're teasing you. This is the end.
InMadnessPod at gmail.com. If you want to email us, if you want to check us out on YouTube, and you can see Vertebrae's vinyls. You got the vinyl this time? I forgot to ask you about the vinyl last week. He's got the vinyl behind him. He's got the lunchbox.
Yeah.
I
got everything. I got tons of stuff to show you. I got a lot of pictures.
We're posting all the pictures on the socials of all of your toys. We're going to post a picture of the vinyl. Make sure you check out the In Madness Spotify playlist, which I added a couple of Star Wars songs to. And happy In Madness Monday, if that's when you're listening. No matter what changes with the podcast, new Monday, every episode, no matter what, unless... we discussed it last week. Spread the madness. Tell everybody you know about this show. Spread the tentacles worldwide. You can represent with a mug or a t-shirt at inmadness.com. And what mug do you have this week?
Yeah, so many Star Wars mugs, so many choices. So I just went with the classic Stormtrooper mug. This is a very nice mug. Great handle. This is Mug Talk, right? It holds
we have to post that
liquid
on our
has
socials.
A beautiful I have a ton of mugs to show. I have to do
this
maybe
one
I'll
specifically.
Maybe I'll do like a one for that, but I'll do like a whole kind of overall view.
Yeah.
And Shawn, when you're talking about the podcast changing and stuff, I think like maybe you're gonna make like Tom Henderson nervous. It starts sounding like this is our last episode of this podcast. Like
we're gonna become a plant-based podcast. We are going to discuss aloes, aloe veras, and
rhododendrons.
See, I'm adding that to your $5 words list that I have.
It's a plant, a rhododendron. All right,
sure it is.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing plant talk. That'll be the still in madness, the in madness world of plant. No, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, just doing things a little differently is all. Don't get scared.
We'll talk about it at the end. But Shawn, Star Wars 1977.
You nerd.
A lot of people seem to really like the first episode.
You
a lot of comments.
Vertebrae was like, he kept texting me while after he's like, it's just me talking. It's just me talking. I'm like, but that's the purpose of this episode. This is your payback for Mortal Kombat. You earned this.
Well, I did tell a friend of mine, I was like, I feel like it was just me talking and the whole time. And you know what he said to me?
It was.
He said, well, he made you watch Turtles.
I don't think these are bad movies. I can't believe the thinking that goes on.
No, I love it. I love your narration. I love your take on it. I don't want you to stop. Keep doing your thing. But what I was going to say was, one of the bits that I wanted to mention on the first episode was, we talked about the merchandising and everything, the deal that Lucas signed, right? And so the Star Wars is so crazy when it comes out. Everybody has to see it. There's lines around the block, just insane. There's no buying tickets in advance, right, Shawn? That those days didn't happen until probably the 90s.
Fandango.
Yeah, none of that exists. So people just waiting in line for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours for this movie. And they wanted to capitalize on it for Christmas. So it comes out in May 77. But to get toys made, they weren't going to have time to make these toys, these action figures. So they sold this early bird Star Wars kit. And it was essentially, Shawn, the beginning of well, the light went off when I said that. That's scary. That was scary. They're watching. Disney is watching this podcast. They essentially sold a box with a photo on it and cardboard inside with a picture of some of the figures and like a certificate that said, like, in 6 months, you're going to get these figures. So parents had them to give kids on Christmas. And I can't imagine. Could you imagine? I wouldn't have comprehended that.
One
if I was just
gift,
given an empty
I
box.
owe you 6 months. Yeah.
That's what it was. And they sold a ton of them. The early bird. It's hilarious that would even happen.
Genius marketing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a product. Let's sell a teaser to what the product's gonna be.
So they had puzzles. I think I still have 2 of the puzzles. That was some of the first product they put out were puzzles. So I do have 2 of them. I'm not good at puzzles. I was never good at puzzles. I never had the patience for it. So there's probably pieces missing, but I do have 2 of the puzzles. And there was a board game as well, which I had. I think I may have just the board left over for it. So they kind of started trying to roll stuff out so that they would do the thing with older movies where they re-released this a few times in the theaters. And they re-released it again on the run up to Empire Strikes Back, because you have to keep the movies in people's minds. Whereas now, the idea that Star Wars wouldn't be in people's minds is insane, but the idea that you would struggle to keep any movie in people's minds. Yes, there's tons of streaming services and stuff, but these movies, this, Shawn, they just went away. They just disappeared. They were in the theaters and then they weren't anywhere. And then suddenly they pop on VHS and they're like $99 when they first come out on VHS or something, if you want to own it. So they were trying to find different ways.
The same Christmas as The Exorcist, did it?
No, because The Exorcist is older than this. So
that would have been a crazy Christmas.
Yeah. No, this didn't come out at Christmas. It came out May 25th, I think, 1977. So that's traditionally when the Star Wars movies would come out. And the whole like May the 4th be with you is like a modern thing. So like the hardcore Star Wars nerds will be like, well, the real Star Wars day is May 25th because that's the day the movie came out, right? That's like the pop culture thing for get them to sell more items. Not that I haven't bought stuff on May the 4th, but they suck you right into their tractor beam, Shawn. They bring you right in close.
Tractor beam.
Yeah, and this is like, this movie in a lot of ways sets my path for art, but ruins me for collecting. Like, turns me into this what it is now, right? Because that established that at a very early age. It was Labubu long before Labubu existed.
If you have a Star Wars Labubu, make sure you send it to our DMs. We'll repost it on the socials. Do you want to recap where we were for episode 4 of Star Wars, where we were last week for episode 126 of In Madness Pod?
Yeah, let's go.
So we got the war going on. Rebels are striking from a hidden base. They won their first victory over the evil Galactic Empire. Rebel spies got the secret plans of the Death Star, armored space station with enough power to destroy a planet. So we got Princess Leia being followed by the Empire's evil forces, trying to get home to her planet to save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. So
what planet, Shawn, is she from?
Alderaan.
Oh, yay. Something's sinking in.
Now the rebels are under attack from the Empire. Darth Vader, our big bad, is pissed. He wants those plans. Those plans have been loaded by Princess Leia into this bot. R2-D2 rolls around with his buddy C-3PO. They escape from the ship in a pod, but end up getting jacked up by these mole dudes who end up selling the droids to Luke Skywalker, who lives with his aunt and uncle. Luke is searching for a greater purpose in life. Who isn't? something greater than harvesting dewdrops to drink due to this having two sons issue they're facing. Luke ends up finding Leia's message inside R2-D2. She's looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, who Luke seems to know personally. They end up meeting up with Ben, who is surprised by this entire story. But now Ben wants to teach Luke how to become a Jedi and use the Force like his father before he was betrayed and murdered by Darth Vader. R2 shows Obi the message Leia left for him, saying they need to get the Death Star plans to her pops on Alderaan. They got to find a weakness on the space station and destroy it. But it turns out Vader is on their ass. He sends the stormtroopers to find these damn droids, R2-D2 and C-3PO, and get these plans. But in the process, Luke's aunt and uncle get barbecued for having been anywhere near those droids. So now Luke's got nothing left. He's a man on a mission. He's going to go with Obi-Wan to Alderaan. He's going to learn the way of the Force, and then they go and hit a bar to find a pilot to get them to Alderaan. And who do they find, Vertebrae?
Han. Which one you want to go with, Shawn? Han Solo.
I do the Han Solo.
Han Solo. You got to do it because of in Force Awakens. He did it like Han Solo. Yeah,
and Chewbacca. They promised to give him a ride, but they want a large sum of money. They're going to fly them aboard the Millennium Falcon, not the Millennium Falcon, the Millennium Falcon. Solo is in pretty deep with Jabba the Hutt. He owes this dude a lot of money. Turns out Leia gets captured by the Empire, but refuses to give up the location of the hidden rebel base. So the Empire tries another method. They fly the Death Ball to her planet, Alderaan, and blow it the fuck up. Millions dead, planet exploded, gone, bye-bye, no more home, Princess Leia. And that's where we left you on episode 126 of it.
I think you got a new career in like just doing like snappy movie
reviews.
Yeah, like it could be like an app, and somebody could go and like click a movie and then have Shawn just tell them what's in that movie.
Yeah, I'll just give you I'll just like, a recap of the full movie.
A recap, but like your version of that recap
in 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes, that's amazing. It's like the new movie phone or something. We could definitely do that. But
Cliff Notes.
I'm ready to dive in. Once again, if you listen to part 1, you know this already. But if you didn't, and for some reason you're showing up in part 2, like our Nightmare on Elm Street episode that gets a ton of listens every week, part 2, for some reason, out of nowhere. Have no idea why. But anyway, if you're tuning in for just part 2, I have not prepared for this film because I have prepared for this film my entire life. So
we're gonna find out. I left big gaps in my story, and those gaps say Vertebrae33 enter here.
I'm very bad when put on the spot for certain things. Some facts come out naturally. Shawn, you know this because
you didn't want to prepare, so now you're going to be quizzed.
In the past, you have tried to record things with me before we did this podcast, and I sounded like the most uncomfortable human being.
No, I trained you well.
Ever meet.
Look at how great you sound.
But now we're going to do something different. You ready?
Yep. Ready? Let's go. Back on the Millennium Falcon, Luke's tooling around with his lightsaber like Robert Pattinson in The Lighthouse. Obi gets a little lightheaded, needs to have himself a sit. He's just felt a great disturbance in the Force, millions crying in terror, silenced. He fears something horrible happened. Solo walks in, patting himself on the back, telling everyone how great of a pilot he is, and they're going to be at Alderaan soon. Chill out. Don't worry. I love it. Chewie, R2, and 3PO are playing like monster space chess.
Yeah, hollow chess. Yep.
Sick. I want this like game, but in Godzilla form.
And this game, Shawn, first of all, is very cool. And second of all, just took forever for them to make. That's all stop motion animation that they're doing there with that. And then they have to like superimpose it on that table. This is again 1976 that they're doing this. And it still holds up. It looks fantastic.
Are you
definitely got to play that?
Are you watching this as I'm narrating it for you?
I am.
Chewie is pissed that he's losing. Solo tells the droids that angry Wookiees are known to pull arms out of the sockets. So Obi's telling Luke the Force flows through him. It sort of controls you, but also follows your commands. Luke's trying to fight this like Nerf ball that shoots lasers, and he gets shot in the leg with the little laser.
Mm-hmm.
Solo's laughing at him. Is like, your old religions and weapons would never be better than a blaster by your side, because he's our rootin' tootin' space cowboy. Luke is annoyed that Solo doesn't believe in the Force. So Obi puts a helmet on Luke and he says, practice blind, do it on instinct. But Luke's like, I can't see.
Yeah, he's back to whining again.
Obi tells Luke his eyes may deceive him. Don't trust them. Luke ends up deflecting some shots. Obi is impressed, but Solo says it's pure luck, but Obi doesn't believe in pure luck.
Mm-mm.
Luke says he felt the Force. Obi tells him he's taken a first step into a larger world.
And Shawn, let's remind everybody, again, set the scene. 1977, this movie comes out in the theater. People have no idea what to expect. So far, we've had a ton of people in masks talking to each other. We saw an aunt and uncle get hideously murdered. There's the Jawas, these weird creatures running around. And now we're on a ship with like this old vagrant looking guy hanging out, talking about the Force. What does that even mean? Nobody really kind of understands. And, Lucas works on this draft. He starts ideas for this in 72 and he starts writing it in 73. And it goes through a bunch of incarnations. And some of the ideas that he has in there get weeded out and used in later films. Some of the ideas got weeded out and used in the, other trilogies. And then some now are even getting sort of cycled back through for stuff that Disney is doing. Some concepts that were left on the table for that, or concept art that Macquarie did that is now becomes a creature on the Mandalorian or something. So
it's crazy because I don't think about that, because you watch this movie already knowing the grand scope of the story, no matter how old you are or whatever, like this day and age, the Force, this, that, you see the movie and like, you're like, oh, this leads to that. But seeing this original by itself with none of the other Star Wars films or the lore or any of that existing, and this just coming out as its own thing, I could see people being like, what is all of this like backstory, and like seeing the grand vastness of how deep this universe goes.
And a sequel is not a layup, although it was incredibly successful. I don't know when they announced the sequel, but it's not like, a series on Netflix, season 1 ends and they announce season 2 like the next, like, hey, our streaming numbers were this, and now we're definitely going to do season 2. There was a little bit of time. I could probably look it up afterwards. I'm curious now how much time, but it wasn't like it cost a lot of money to make too. And they did a lot as cheaply as they could, but it was just no getting around it. But it becomes such a cultural phenomenon that every sort of, and I don't feel it's science fiction. George called it space fantasy, and I agree with him 100%. But I mean, countless films and TV shows have been chasing this forever, and chasing this sort of snappy vibe of the first one forever, because this movie flies. And this clip that they have it on is like, yeah, you're here. It's got you moving along very quickly.
So back on the Death Star, we got Vader and his boss Tarkin. They're told they've reached Dan Tatooine. This is the spot Leia ratted out as the rebel base before they decided to blow up her home planet anyway. Mm-hmm. He's told the rebel base is deserted, but they're still checking. Tarkin's pissed. He wants Leia dead. The Millennium Falcon ends up in the middle of this meteor shower. Solo's confused. His map says this is supposed to be Alderaan, but there's nothing here except all this exploded rock. What the hell could have the power to blow up a planet? Till this bad guy ship goes flying past them. Mm-hmm. Solo goes after it so they don't get ratted out.
That's a TIE fighter.
They're wondering how the hell this TIE fighter got there. Mm-hmm. Ship seems
because he's not a deep space fighter, Shawn. So they're not known for going out really far away. So they got to have another place to dock that's closer. Again, lots of information. If you're just watching this for the first time, you're like, oh, okay. I guess that means that's not a deep space Yeah.
It's headed towards a small moon, but Obi knows better. That's no moon. It's a space station. Bah, bah, bah. Everyone's freaking out.
Mhm.
Now the Millennium Falcon, like Travis Walton in Fire in the Sky, is being pulled from this tractor beam into the death ball.
Mhm.
Solo wants to fight it, but Obi tells him there is another way. The Millennium Falcon pulls up right into the Death Star. Stormtroopers surround the ship and notify Tarkin they got visitors. Vader knows they're looking for the princess. She may still be of use to us.
Mhm.
Vader walks up to the Millennium Falcon and out walks a jabroni who tells him nobody is on board. They must have bailed right after takeoff. And they always got excuses for where all the people on the ship are disappearing to. And they always seem to give it to Vader. And they're like, oh man, I hope he believes this.
Yeah, they're a little incompetent. You know, it's funny to me when you look at it now because it's cool to see stormtroopers lined up and running around. But Shawn, I have to be fair if I dive into the practicality of other movies. I'll give you one here. Like this space station's just by itself, right? In space. So like why are these guys all suited up in armor? Or were they just, you know, sitting somewhere and hit a buzzer and then they got to throw their helmets on and go? Like what, you know what I mean? Like what were they doing before it arrived? Like what's the, like, I guess maybe you start pulling in at the tractor beam and it's like, yo, hit the buzzer. Guys, get dressed. We're pulling something in. We're going to need the
Time
guards,
to
right?
investigate. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're just hanging out somewhere playing like foosball or something, and then
Eating
they get,
chicken.
you know, yeah, it's kind of like you know, an Outpost 31. They're just in there playing ping pong and doing whatever, and then they get the call. But
This jabroni dude tells Darth there's nothing there. They must have left on one of the escape pods, but Darth can sense something, a presence he has not felt since, and he walks off quickly. Out from the floor of the ship crawl our heroes. Solo wants to get out of there, but knows he can't make it past a tractor beam. But Obi says, leave that to me. And Solo says, I knew you were going to say that. And Obi says, what, Vertebrae33?
oh, I don't know. What did he
Who's
say?
more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
See, I don't want to ever do lines on the podcast. I love when you say the lines on the podcast.
Chewie makes a noise and Solo pets him, which is funny because Chewie is the fool who is following Solo.
Yeah, and it's like, but that's like a cute little
It is
moment
cute.
with his buddy. You know what I mean? They've been around.
They're like Beavis and Butthead, these two.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Chewbacca is so much cooler than either Beavis or Butthead. Don't do that.
I think Chewbacca's Beavis. And
That's my guy, man. That's who, right?
Beavis is my guy. That's my fucking guy right there.
No, but that's not your guy in Star Wars. Your guy was you were
Chewie. Your guy's Chewie, but like my guy is. I am C-3PO, 100%. But my guy is definitely Dude's walking the ship with scanners to find our heroes, but we hear a scuffle, and the dudes call down to the stormtroopers that they need a hand, and we hear some blasters firing off. Our heroes steal the stormtrooper suits and hijack the base. Chewie is knocking dudes out. R2 is hacking their systems. R2 finds the controls to the beam holding their ship. They need to knock out power at one of the terminals so they can get their ship out of there. Obi takes it upon himself. He tells Luke the droids gotta be safe or other star systems will suffer the same fate as Alderaan. Tells Luke, your destiny is on a different path than mine. And then he says, what, Vertebrae?
I don't know.
The Force will be with you always.
I'm going to just say I don't know every time because I want you to say the lines. I paid good money for you to say these lines, Shawn.
Luke and Solo talk even more smack to each other, but R2 interrupts and says he found her. She's here, Princess Leia. They're going to kill her. Luke wants to help her. Solo doesn't. Luke tells him these are her droids. She sent this message, and we got to help. Yeah. Solo wants no part of it, so Luke says the secret word. She's rich. Think of all the reward money. So now Solo's intrigued and he wants to know the plan. Luke's cuffing up Chewie. He gets pissed, so he asks Solo to cuff Chewie. 3PO wants to know what him and R2-D2 do in case of trouble, and they just tell him, lock the door, you'll be fine.
Yeah, what an insane Star Wars is known for its insane plans that have no way of actually working out. This is, they have no choice. They've been thrust into this, but all of this inside the Death Star is very cool. Very, very cool. Again, we've not seen this before, the way it's set up. Just this look and feel that it has, we've seen, desert, and we've seen Luke's home and the crazy cantina. Now we're clearly seeing stuff that like the Empire built, that we're going to pretty soon see what the rebels were building. So we're just getting all these cool, investigating all these cool little areas. And, they've got she's there, Shawn. They got to help her.
Well, that's what Luke thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Han doesn't really give a shit, but he could use a couple of bucks. He does owe Jabba a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke and Solo dress as troopers, and they're leading Chewie through the ship. Obi is also sneaking through the ship, but Darth Vader stops in his tracks. Luke and Solo are arguing again. Solo says the plan won't work. Luke's like, why didn't you say that before? And Solo's like, I did say that before.
Mm.
I like their back and forth they have. Immediately, the guys are under suspicion by the crew. As they get approached, Chewie freaks out. He rips off his cuffs, and Luke and Solo are like, oh my God, he's going to tear us apart. But then they give Chewie a gun, and then all three of them start shooting and blowing shit up.
He's okay. As long as he's got a gun, he's fine.
Solo gets on the intercom to contact the control room, tell him everything's fine here. Don't worry about it. But the control room wants to know what the hell's going on. So they're sending another crew. So Solo gets annoyed, blasts the intercom, and he's like, that was a boring conversation anyway. He's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, the witty Harrison Ford banter is on full display in this film.
He yells to Luke to tell him they're about to get company. Luke finds Leia's cell. She's laying there very sexily and makes fun of him and says, a little short for a stormtrooper, huh?
Sexily? Is that a
just
word?
She's not like laying down and she's not stressed out. Like he walks in and she's like,
yeah, she posed.
She's posing.
Yeah. But I just never heard the word sexily. And now I feel like we have to add
it's very unsexy to say sexily. I guarantee you that. He goes, I'm Luke. I'm here to rescue you. I got R2-D2. I'm here with Ben Kenobi. So Vader is ratting out Kenobi to Larkin. Vader knows he's there. Tarkin.
Not Harkin, not Larkin.
Larkin. Vader knows
Peter
he's
Cushing,
there.
the amazing Peter Cushing.
So wait, what is it? Tarkin? Because I have Larkin here, I think, the whole time. Whatever. I'm just going to say Larkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Yes.
Vader felt a tremor in the Force. Last time he felt that was in the presence of his old master. Tarkin says, surely he's dead by now. But Vader insists, and he says, don't underestimate the Force.
Yes.
Larkin insists Jedi are extinct. Tarkin insists Jedi are extinct, tells Vader he's all that's left of their religion. Tarkin gets a call. They got trouble at the princess's jail cell. Vader insists Obi is there. The Force is with him. Tarkin doesn't want him to escape. Vader says escape is not his plan. I must face him alone. Stormtroopers rush Solo and Chewie, start blasting. They run off. They meet up with Leia and Luke. Leia and Solo immediately start talking shit to each other about how Solo blocked their only escape route. Maybe you'd like it better in your cell, Your Highness. So they're flirting already. Everyone's firing at each other. Luke is trying to radio 3PO for help, but as usual, he's useless. Plus, he's got bigger problems now because they're knocking on 3PO's door ready to blow it down. Leia's asking the guy how they plan to get in there with no plan of getting out. So she grabs Luke's gun, shoots open a vent, shoots at some of the stormtroopers, tosses Luke back his gun, and says to Solo, into the garbage chute, flyboy.
And, this Princess Leia, Shawn, she's not like any other princess we've seen in films before this. Like, she's grabbing the gun, shooting, she's
a doer.
Yeah. And, it's cool to see. It's cool to see that character. She obviously grows throughout the films and we get more of their past and everything. But sort of this banter between all of them is really what starts to ground this film, because if you're having a hard time relating to a space station that can blow up planets and all these droids and Wookiees and what is all this, we can all relate to, they're probably flirting, and then we've got Luke as presumably the third wheel going on right now. So yeah, this is what starts to separate this movie from just we got a lot of cool space stuff.
Solo tells Luke he likes Leia. Luke shoots Solo a look because Luke's got a thing for her too.
Yeah, awkward.
Everyone jumps in the garbage chute. Solo hops in like he's going down a slide.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're all in the trash compactor, again, yelling at each other. And if that's not bad enough, something is in there swimming around with them. This is a nightmare. You're in a garbage with like a garbage pool, and there's creatures in the garbage pool.
And this is such a cool shot where we're just right there at the edge. You see the few kind of far shots, you're seeing all of the stuff with the water or sludge or whatever floating around, and it's got this red light on it. It's just lit like a really cool way. They have used some props from that inside there that you see there in like Mandalorian and stuff in later episodes, but at the beginning they're just making stuff to put in there. I assume it's probably like a lot of like foam and everything's to make it easy to float. And again, this creature, we don't see a lot of it. You just see it kind of come up to the surface and disappear. It is interesting. It doesn't seem very deep, but yet we're about to get to a point where Luke gets pulled down.
It grabs Luke, it drags him into the garbage juice, but eventually he escapes. But if that wasn't enough, now the walls are closing in and compacting.
And Shawn, when they talk about it, like, what does he say? Like, what a new smell you've discovered or whatever it is. He says, like, just imagine, when your garbage can in your house is just, you've been cleaning out the fridge, you're putting stuff there. Maybe you didn't take it out right away. Maybe there's some old milk in there. After a couple hours, imagine that smell, let alone this. This would be, I don't even know how you would. That's brutal.
Luke is screaming for help for 3PO on his radio, but this idiot 3PO forgot that he turned his radio off. Mm-hmm. Moron. He turns it on, and our heroes are almost pancakes. R2 hacks the system, stops the compactor, and they're all yelling and celebrating. However, 3PO thinks they're all yelling in agony because they're dying.
Hilarious. That's a fantastic moment.
Luke tells 3PO they did great. Get them the hell out of there. Obi finds this steep-ass, scary power station on the ship and shuts it down so they can get the Millennium Falcon the hell out of there.
That's the tractor beam that he's going. Shawn, so there's a... when he shuts that down, it goes like... boo, right? That's the sound that everybody imitates all the time. There is, and I don't know what country it is, but there is a country, I don't think it's Chile, but it's a Latin American country where... they would intercut, and I'll find these and we can put them on the socials. They would intercut a beer commercial into a film so that people would like watch the commercial. So it was for Cerveza Cristal. So the jingle was like Cerveza Cristal, one like that. And they do it with Star Wars. And I believe they get sued. Venezuela, maybe? I'm not sure. I will find it. But when he's going to reach and lift that panel for the tractor beam, he reaches, suddenly it's not his hand anymore. It's like they filmed another hand, and there's all this ice in there, and there's a few beers, and then he grabs that beer instead of this. It goes, Cerveza Cristal, and then they just go back to the regular movie. They do this when he's a Force ghost, spoiler alert, in another movie. He's sitting there and he pulls a beer up. They do it a few times. They do it with a Tauntaun. I have to find it. I believe they may have done it with Terminator as well, where they just interjected, and they literally have filmed a new part of it where, the guy's got a Jedi robe on. You see the old arm grab the beer, but instead of the lever, there's just a bunch of ice and beer there. They're fantastic. I'll find them. We'll put them on the
social. Forward them to me and I'll post them up on the socials. We got Leia and Solo arguing with each other. He's saying none of this is worth any reward money. She calls Chewbacca a big walking carpet. Everyone's fighting with each other. Everyone's mad. They smell like garbage juice. Obi gets cornered by the stormtroopers, but uses the Force to distract them as he makes his escape. Our heroes find the Millennium Falcon, get stopped by a few stormtroopers, so Solo starts yelling like a madman, screaming, shouting at a handful of troopers who are scared as hell. They're all running away, but Solo's screams of rage quickly turn into screams of horror as he stops because he walks headfirst into 100 stormtroopers blocking their exit.
Right. Wasn't that many in the original. They added a lot in for the special edition, but it was a lot, but not that many.
Luke and Leia get cornered at some bridge. It's not connected. They're getting shot at. Leia takes Luke's gun. She's firing back. Luke is swinging his little grappling hook. He hooks it. She gives him a kiss on his cheek for good luck, and they swing to the other side of the bridge. Obi sneaking around, turns a corner, and to his surprise,
here we go.
There's Vader, standing, waiting, breathing, lightsaber drawn. Vader's is red because he's evil. Obi's is blue because he's a good dude. Vader says, I've been waiting for you. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was a learner. Now I am the master. Obi's like, you're only a master of evil. They have their little fight. Darth calls Obi a weak old man. Obi tells Darth if he strikes him down, he'll become more powerful than he can possibly imagine. What does that mean? You kill me and I can blow up the galaxy? What does that mean?
Well, we'll find out because we sort of find out in this film.
Our heroes approach the Millennium Falcon trying to board it, but it's blocked by stormtroopers. Till up come Obi and Darth battling in their line of sight. So the troopers all bail to go attend to this situation.
Everyone stops to watch. We're just like, fight! It's a fight! Fight!
Our heroes board the Falcon and Luke stops to see Obi battling with Vader. Obi smirks at Vader, seems to meditate. And in that moment, Darth slices through the middle of him and Obi's robe drops to the ground. Luke screams, so all the stormtroopers start firing at them.
And Shawn, seeing this movie for the first time, seeing this in 1977, I didn't understand that at all. I had no idea what was going on. My little brain thought he lost. I didn't get the smirk. I didn't get what it meant to the bigger picture of the galaxy, to the actual New Hope, which is Luke. I didn't understand it. I was just like, oh man. And then like what happened to him? And he just like disappeared. There was a kid that I knew that had a theory that he wasn't dead because he went through a trap door. And so when we hear his voice later on, that's him. He's actually still alive and he's supposed to come back in the second movie that they're going to make and surprise everybody. And that was his little kid theory. It's a pretty good theory actually, but I had no idea what was going on. The first time you saw this, did you get this? Did you get the nuance of this?
I don't remember the first, if I understood what was happening the first time. This time I did. I seen it coming a million miles away, but no, I can't remember the first time if it was a big like mystery to me or not.
Right. And so the weight of this, as with a lot of things in Star Wars, as they go on, things that they did in earlier films get heavier because they'll expand upon them, and so then it matters even more. So not that this wasn't heavy, but like, essentially we just met this old dude, right? Luke just met him. He can't be that. He looks more upset than when his aunt and uncle died. He can't be that upset by it. What is really going on here? And I think it's when you start getting into the world of the Force and the emotions and the feelings they have wrapped up in it, what Obi-Wan Kenobi's greater purpose was, why he was even on Tatooine in the first place, how that all went down, starts to add weight to this even more. And he knew exactly what he was doing. And we don't go back into all the other movies, but I will give you just one tidbit that by making another movie makes this even heavier. And we, you know, obviously the brother, sister, father, all that kind of stuff we know. But the thing is like Anakin became, this is deep dive. We're going deep dive nerd shit right now for Shawn because he needs a moment like this. Anakin became Darth Vader and was convinced by Palpatine because he wanted Padme to live, right? He wanted his mom had already died, and he wanted the ability to have people, you know, not die. And Palpatine's like, we got this. The Sith's got this. Jedi will never teach it. You follow me. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Right. So look at in this situation. Obi-Wan becomes one with the Force, and he's not dead. Right? His essence is still alive. He's actively communicating. He's going to be communicating in this film. And as these films go along, he actually becomes more connected with the Force because he starts to interact with the environment around him. He physically interacts with the environment around him. So he did achieve what Anakin hoped, you know, he could achieve for his family. So there you go, Shawn.
Pretty sick.
You like
pretty
that one?
Deep.
But at the time, it's just like, hey, this old wizard, what happened? And most people just took it as like he distracted. The take was he did that and smirked because he knew that would be a distraction for them to get away. Yeah. That was it. That was the face value of this. Anyone tells you they thought anything different when they saw it in 1977, they're lying. Not true. Everyone was like, oh, he did it on purpose. Why did he do it on purpose? Well, it helped them get away. All of that other connection, we don't know about any of that yet. And then they start to kind of weave it in. But yeah, you can continue to pull these movies apart, and everything they've done after this just adds such an incredible weight to the original film because they keep going back to that source material.
Well, not even Darth believes what he's seeing because he goes right up to Obi's old robe on the floor and starts futzing around with it with his foot. And he's like, something's up here. Mm-hmm. Luke's firing at troopers, but we hear it Obi's voice telling Luke to run. Mm-hmm. Our heroes blast off into space. Luke is bummed about Obi, but Solo's like, we still got trouble. Luke and Solo sit in these cool gunner chairs, and the more I look at the Millennium Falcon on the inside, kind of looks like the Nostromo.
Mm-hmm. Or the Nostromo looks like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. One of the two, yeah. Because it's got those like white puffy things all over the walls.
Oh, yeah.
It's very similar.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Ridley Scott doing Alien, one of the things was they want to do a sci-fi movie and they want to have it be, you know, darker Star Wars in a lot of ways. So that's where that idea comes from. So certainly they're all looking at you know, 2001: A Space Odyssey and other science fiction films to get a look and feel for it. But yes, those like cushiony wall accoutrements, I'd like some of those, but then
I want to bounce off them. I just want to throw my body like as hard as I can against them and just bounce off from wall to wall.
Yeah, I think that's called an insane asylum, Shawn.
Yeah. But I mean, I have my own free will. That's okay. That, but that's what makes it fun.
Maybe that's what Charlie, the spoiler kids room is like.
That's why he does it. Like he spoils just
yeah. He likes to stay there. It's comfortable to him.
Yeah, for real. The inside of the Manus Penitentiary kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon.
I would think so.
Millennium Falcon's getting shot at, bursting into flames. R2's putting him out. Luke and Solo they blast these two ships. Luke is stoked, but Solo tells him not to get cocky. Tarkin and Vader are annoyed, but not terribly, because they put a homing beacon on the Millennium Falcon to keep track of their ass. Mm-hmm. Solo's pretty stoked on himself for getting away. Leia's positive that the Empire let them get away because she knows that they're being tracked, but Solo doubts it.
Yeah. She's on it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm, she knows. Leia tells him R2 is the tech specs and the death ball stored inside of him. They need to be researched so the Death Star can be destroyed. Solo just wants to get paid and get on with his life. Leia gets pissed, walks off, tells him Han Solo's a dick. Luke asks what Han thinks of her. Solo says he doesn't think much about her, and this makes Luke happy, but Solo sees that it makes Luke happy, so then immediately starts breaking his balls. Mm-hmm. Our heroes head to the secret rebel base on planet Yavin.
Mm-hmm.
They're pulling the Death Sphere plans off of R2-D2, but then we see the Death Star slowly approaching planet Yavin.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes on the rebel base are being briefed about the Death Ball. It's got massive firepower, but a small single fighter should be able to breach the line of defense. They found one weakness, and it won't be easy.
Mm-hmm.
They got to blow up a thermal exhaust, and everyone's super concerned. The exhaust leads to the reactor, which should blow up the ship.
Mm-hmm. How big is the exhaust, Shawn?
Is it 2 meters?
It's 2 meters wide. And what is Luke? Luke is sitting next to somebody else, and he says, "Shawn, what does he say?" The man
says it's impossible, and Luke tells him what, Vertebrae?
No, he tells him, "Nah, I used to zap womp rats with my T16 back home. They're not much more than 2 meters." That line is in my head.
Thank you for giving me one. Thank you for giving me one line.
It's not as cool.
I had it marked off for you, and you did it. Thank you.
It's not as cool, but that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. I feel like I was lying to you in the first episode because you were like, "Do you have a lightsaber sound?" I'm like, "Yeah." Afterwards, I was like, "Of course I have a lightsaber sound. Like, who doesn't have a lightsaber?" And then you're like, "You have an R2," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've done R2 a million times." But I was trying to play it cool because I knew I was going to be coming in heavy with all the ridiculous nerd facts.
Can you do your R2? I can't do an R2.
I do like.
Yeah, yours was better. Mine sounded like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out Nintendo character. Man, your ships, may the force be with you. Death Star is getting into position to vaporize this rebel base. And Vader says, this will be a day long remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Kenobi is dead, and soon so will be the rebellion. Tarkin gives Vader a look of doubt. Solo's packing his loot, ready to leave. Luke's mad at Solo for leaving. Solo tosses Luke a line, says, "Come with me," and Chewie. He likes Luke shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Luke tells Solo to be real. They need Solo. He's turning his back on them. Solo wants to pay his debts to Jabba and spend his money, not attack a battle station.
Yeah, and let's put it this way, like, everyone's all living in this galaxy. Solo's been making his way, smuggling things. He knows what it's like. He's trying to avoid, Imperial connections anytime he possibly can. So he knows he just met these people like 45 minutes ago. Where's the weight in it for him? He get his credits, go pay off his debt, and move along. But this Luke gets a little whiny in this again too, where he's sort of having a moment with Leia about it. And when you first see this movie, Shawn, you're like, oh, it's a love triangle, right? Like one of them they both like her. Who's gonna be, especially when you're little, you're like, who's gonna be the boyfriend? That's what you're thinking about the whole time. But she's gonna go for the bad boy. Of course she's gonna go for the bad boy. I mean, it doesn't hurt that the other choice turns out to be her sibling, but hey.
Luke gets mad and walks away, but Solo stops him and says, "May the force be with you." What a nice guy.
Yeah. Did you think when you first saw this that he would show back up? Or did you even?
I feel like it sets it up to happen.
Yeah. I mean, as an adult, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But the first time, kid, I can't remember the first time.
As a small child, no idea. I'm like, that sucks. I like that guy. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. Chewie groans at Han, but he says, "I know what I'm doing." Luke runs into Leia. She asks what's wrong. He's mad at Han. She tells him he's got to follow his own path. No one can choose it for him. Luke's sad about Kenobi, so Leia gives him a little cheek kiss, and now all's right with the world because Luke is stoked. Luke runs to an old friend, Biggs. They're stoked to see each other. They can't wait to get back and trade war stories. They board their ships. R2 gets strapped to his back. 3PO says if R2 doesn't come back, his life will be boring, which is cute. Those dudes love each other.
Yeah, and so we see Biggs here, and then we see Wedge. I think it was Tom Henderson. Somebody mentioned their favorite character being Wedge, if I remember correctly on the socials. But we see him here. Biggs had a larger role in the movie. There's a scene in the beginning that they cut out with him there on Tatooine, kind of talking to Luke about we'll catch you down down the road, and then we see him here. So if they kept it in there, it wouldn't have added anything really, because I mean, I'm sure the actor would have liked the movie more than he was, but we don't need to know. We just know he knew him before. Like, let's just keep this movie moving along. Like, we're 20 minutes left in this movie. We've been flying through this movie. We got to now a jungle base on Yavin that looks completely different. We got a lot of weird stuff going on. These orange jumpsuits, droids everywhere. Now, Shawn, the droids are going to go up onto the ships with them. We've never seen this before, where the astromech droid is sitting inside the X-wing. Like, I've never seen that before. These help kind of operating like they're a pair, like they're teamed up, like that's your buddy who's going to help you navigate it. And I think all of the extra filler would have just taken away from the pace. There's no other Star Wars film that's paced this way.
Luke's taking off, hears Obi's voice, says the Force will be with you. Now the rebels battling the Death Star. Rebel dudes are getting smoked, and we hear Obi's voice telling Luke to trust his feelings. Now the rebels got company. Here come the little Empire ships blasting more rebels, blasting Empire ships. Everyone shooting back and forth at each other.
And Shawn, when they're checking in, that's when he says Red 5 standing by.
I did pick up on the reference finally, because I didn't understand it in the first episode. I understood it once I watched part 2 of this episode.
And they got all these different characters in the beginning. You see just a couple cool mustaches, and this whole ragtag bunch that's together. They got some pretty cool ships, but neat.
Well, Darth's had enough of this shit. No more standing around waiting for something to happen. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So now he's flying his ass into space, and he's smoking all these rebel dudes. One of the Death Star cronies tells Tarkin they may have an issue if the rebels discover their one weakness.
And Shawn, I just realized I'm sitting here watching it with you, and I'm like, I made a mistake, and we can't edit it because we don't edit it. But I'm going to say that Wedge is in the ship. I identified the wrong guy with Biggs, and I apologize for that. So don't get mad at me, Tom. I realized afterwards. But I'm so lost in Shawn's narration that with Biggs was standing there, I wanted to shoehorn in Wedge when I could, and I did it too early, so I apologize.
The crony tells Tarkin should he prep the escape pod, but Tarkin refuses. He can't leave now in this moment of triumph. One of the rebels blasts the weak point, but only does partial damage. So now Luke is heading in to save the day. The Death Star is 30 seconds away from being in firing range of the rebel base. The clock is ticking. Luke is approaching the target when we hear Obi's voice telling him to let go. Stop relying on the equipment and use the Force. And Vader can sense it. And he says the Force is strong with this one. Pretty sick.
Yeah. And this whole piece about coming in range. So now we've entered a whole, like, there's a timer on this movie, Shawn. It's got to happen in a certain amount of time. It's not an ongoing space battle, right? This is a smart storytelling way to sort of wrap it up, because how else would you wrap this up? What would be the pressure behind it, right? They could just keep trying to zap at it, but it's like, dope, we got this time and this story element, and we got to get through it.
Obi tells Luke to trust him, so he turns off all of his targeting computers, and everyone on the base is freaking out. What is going on with Luke? Vader blasts R2-D2. The death ball is in firing range of the base. Vader is in firing range of Luke until Vader's crony ships start blowing up. And who is it? Han Solo and Chewie. They come to save the day. Luke takes the shot. The death ball starts charging up to fire, and kablooey goes the Death Star. Solo tells him that was 1,000,001 shot, and Obi says the Force will be with you always.
Yeah, and there's like that last minute shot of Tarkin where he's kind of like with his hand near his mouth, like he might bite his nail, like, oh, in our moment of triumph, like, I'm not going anywhere.
Now he's gone. However, Vader was not in the Death Star. He was flying his ass in his own little ship that went topsy-turvy once Han Solo started firing on all of Vader's cronies.
Yep. So he just goes spinning away. And that explosion of the Death Star, Shawn, gets enhanced for the special edition. It wasn't that like dramatic originally.
Our heroes make it back to the base. R2 is smoked. 3PO is horrified, offering his own body parts to fix R2. What a bud. Cut to our heroes receiving the Congressional Medal of Honor. Luke, Solo, and Chewie approach Leia, surrounded by rebel troops. They all smile. She gives them medals, a key to the city, a gift card to Applebee's. R2 is all back in working order, stoked to see everybody. Our heroes face the crowd. Chewie's barking away. Cut to outer space, written, directed by George Lucas. The end. We pulled off Star Wars.
Sort of. We pulled it off. I had a big flub there in the middle, but that's okay. It's all right. Shawn, everyone always talks about it now. Nobody thought of it then. But the fact that Chewbacca doesn't get a medal and everyone else does is, weird to people. He just never gets one.
Didn't. They wasn't just like they cut out before he got his medal. Like he didn't get the medal.
Yeah, he's not wearing it. When they turn around, he doesn't have one. So, but I do love like that ending when they come out. Presumably, Kenny Baker's in the R2 unit at the time because it's kind of like going but rocking back and forth, and he's all good. Luke's hair is perfectly, everyone's cleaned up and looking good. He's in that like yellowy brown jacket. Like times are good. We got a big celebration. There's a lot of matte painting going on at the end because there's not as many people in that room as we see, and that's it. It's fantastic. We did it.
How do you feel? We did your favorite movie this is your one. I know this is the one was your dream, and we've made your dream come true.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess not.
I guess not. Well, it's funny, so favorite movie of all time, right? I thought about this because I think you mentioned in the last episode. Most influential movie to me in my life of all time, by far, not even close. Favorite movie? I mean, I would say it's up there, but you know me, Shawn, and picking favorites. Yeah. And I have categories like favorite this type of movie and whatever it is. But
you don't have a favorite of all time that you. I would say this is up there in your top. I would say top 3.
Probably, I would assume so. Yeah, and I would say at points in my life, if you asked me, I probably would have said, yeah, it's my favorite movie. Yeah. But as we change and grow, we still love those things, but we find other things that a different way. Again, we always say on the podcast, it's when things hit you. What is the weight of it behind it for how?
Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie out of all of the Star Wars movies?
No. I'm such a bad podcast host. Should I have like a top 10 or something?
No, I just don't know if listen, a lot of people is like an absolute.
Lean towards Empire. Everyone talks about Empire. It's the darkest of the 3.
How about this? Which one of the Star Wars have you seen the most, do you think? This one?
Of which ones? Of this trilogy, I have probably seen Return of the Jedi more.
Okay.
Because of when it came out, and I was going to the movies at the time, so I would go in the summertime and see it, every other day, I think. We'd just go, like, I've seen it a ton of times in the theater. I only ever saw this once in the theater. And then the special editions. But I don't know, because I think recently then it got caught up, because then after Rogue One came out, I started watching New Hope a little bit more. I don't know. These are hard because I think I've seen all of them so many times. I think of the original trilogy, I think I've seen them all so many times. Of the prequel trilogy, I think it's probably in the order goes like Phantom Menace, then Revenge of the Sith, and then I think Attack of the Clones I've seen the least, although I'm starting to like that more and more because it's such a weird movie.
What shirt do you have on?
I got a Star Wars shirt. This has Ralph McQuarrie concept art in it. Let's see it.
We got to post it on the socials. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you should take a picture of that.
That's like
all these
the original
all these
concept.
things you have, your shirt, your mug, take a picture of them
Mhm.
and send it to me. We'll post it on the socials. We want to know what your crazy ass thought.
But you had questions for me, Shawn. You said in the beginning you had some questions for
Well,
me.
no, it was going to be the quotes. Did you know the quotes?
Oh,
And
yeah,
you
yeah,
did.
yeah.
So I
I'm not
canceled
quote
all of my
crazy.
questions as I was
Oh,
doing it because it was going to be
I ruined
vertebrae.
it.
What does Darth Vader say when Luke is about to
And I
blow
would
them
say,
up?
no, Shawn, you say it.
The
Yeah,
force
yeah,
is strong with this one. It's cool. I
yeah.
like that he can feel it from like a ship away as they're flying through space. It's that strong that Vader can still sense.
Right. And I mean, obviously, Shawn, these aren't spoilers, so Charlie can't ruin it for anybody, but he's also, we'll find out later on, sensing his son. Although when this is written at the time, that's not where they were headed. But, now you can add, like I said, you can go back and add different weight to it. If you've never seen Rogue One, Shawn, I said it to you in the first episode, you need to watch Rogue One because it very much fits in with this universe. It's a little bit darker than A New Hope, but it leads directly into this, and you sort of see the backstory of the plans and everything, and it's really very interesting. But what is your favorite Star Wars movie,
Oh,
Shawn?
I don't even know. I can't.
What's your least favorite, Shawn?
I haven't seen them enough to have a favorite or a least favorite. I've seen them all less than a handful of times, and the story is far too in depth for me to have processed really much of any of it. I did see the 3 episode 1, 2, and 3 in theaters when they came out in the early 2000s when that was the big hype. Those were all I think really cool. The originals I went backwards and rented. I don't know. I have no idea. I'd have to rewatch them all and give a serious ranking. I don't have a favorite or a least favorite. That's like asking you what your favorite or least favorite Ninja Turtles movie is.
I mean, I can tell you what my 2 favorite ice creams are.
Okay.
You want to know that?
Yeah.
So we get a ranking. My 2, well, you know one of them.
Yeah, mint chocolate chip. That's mine.
Mint chocolate chip. And the second one is the Turkey Hill peanut butter and vanilla.
I'm gonna bring that shit over. We're gonna do that. I want to
Yeah.
know what your ass thought of Star Wars. Let us know on the socials at In Madness Pod. Also, let us know in the mail sack. I know Charlie loves Star Wars. I had a lot of people sending the heart and flame emojis when we posted that we were doing Star Wars. You're stoked that we're doing it, so we want to hear from you about it. Hit us in the mail sack, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. We're gonna be dipping in there next week to hear any of the Star Wars emails that have come in or the voicemails that have been left by friends of the show. And with that,
wait,
we're not leaving yet.
Yeah.
Shall we get into what we're so this essentially the plan is this was the last part 2 of a movie.
Well, maybe. So
For like we're gonna try and sum it up in one episode, so
Yes.
not 2 weeks needs to be
So
dedicated to a movie.
Right. I think some of the feedback we've got that people love when we kind of get through these movies in one episode. But I do think there's certain movies that we owe it to ourselves to do The Thing. I've mentioned that before to you, or Silence of the Lambs, or The Shining in 2 parts. But I think probably for the future of this podcast, it's going to be a little bit more on the Inside Madness side. And if you love our interviews with authors and people in bands and other podcasts, and we're going to have some artists on, we're going to try to expand, Shawn, much like they expanded this Star Wars universe after the original New Hope, we're going to expand upon this universe
We're about
as well.
to pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Roby and drop to the floor. And the In Madness family is going to be Vader with their little foot just stepping up. Like, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah. And it's not that we don't like to do them like that, but I think, there's something to be said for us getting to talk about other things. And we've been doing the podcast for over 2 years now in this format. And there's just some things we just never get to because it doesn't It didn't seem to fit like our box, our format that we had laid out. And I think this is a better way to kind of get to other things where we can not be locked into that. If we go 3 episodes without doing a movie deep dive, then so be it. If we pick a random episode and talk about Alien Earth the whole time, then so be it. I mean, you didn't know what movies we were doing in advance anyway. I think when we do movies, we still want people, we're going to do votes. We still want people to be involved. What I'd like, Shawn, and you've been talking about it for 2 years, is I'd like the people who listen to this to get as involved as they can. Love to hear the emails, love to get voice notes. They don't have to be incredibly long if you don't want them to be. They can be if you want them to be. That's great. But I think we can become a little more interactive too and react on the fly. So for example, if somebody's listening all the time and they're like, oh man, like I watched this show and like neither of us saw it, and I think that you guys would absolutely love it. You know what? Then maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll watch that show and we'll talk about it because somebody brought it up to us. So I think it's just a way for us to be a little more nimble and broaden our horizons. We've gotten such great feedback on when we have, Tim Halley on from Fit for an Autopsy, and we have, Brandon way back when, and like episode 6 did, people were really into it. When we have our pals from Mischief Toys on, people were really into it. I mean, we've Langan, Tremblay, we're lining up a couple other authors. I think we want to do more of those things that incorporate the stuff that we love. But that being said, we're headed into Halloween season, so we're going to obviously do some movies heading into Halloween. But I think we'll try to do them a little quicker. And I think I want more of this. Like, I like you just going through the movie and us doing it together. I think that works really well.
Yeah, I need to figure out a better way to simplify a movie, kind of like we did with like Ringu and Nosferatu, when we just get it done in one episode and make the movie episode just its own thing and not have to dedicate 2 full weeks. Because if you didn't see Killer Clowns and you don't give a fuck about Killer Clowns, and you're not listening for 2 weeks about Killer Clowns.
Right.
But that is one of the greatest movies of all time and 2 of the greatest episodes we've ever released.
Yeah. And we will still do the big ones.
Yeah,
there's still going to be a list of
sometimes,
movies.
but it won't be every goddamn.
And I'm going to say right now, probably The Thing might be 3. Who knows?
Thing
Something
month,
like that.
Thing month.
Might be
Yes,
Thing month.
Talking
But
about The Thing. Yeah.
If you have any ideas, reach out to us. If there's movies, we're open. We have a list of movies. We haven't gotten to a ton of them on there, but if there's something that's bubbling up to the top and you've listened from the beginning and you're active with us, write in and let us know what you want to do. Write in the socials, send an email, whatever. I'm
going to look up some anniversaries too, because I know the anniversaries are big. We hit Jaws on the anniversary. That shit was
it's
huge.
Fun to do that because you get the time period that they came out as well. And I think, if you have any ideas for guests, if you have somebody that, they like worked on whatever movie and you think they would come on, like, let us know. We want to broaden our horizons a little bit with that too. Love to get somebody on here that worked on a film, because it's just right now Shawn and I, who've never worked on a film, talking about it. And but yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're adapting, and we're
evolving.
We're evolving, and we're headed into New York Comic-Con season. And we'll get to more of that very, very soon. And I will have some huge announcements for the booth in the next few weeks. And I'm excited to announce what we have going on. And Shawn will be there the Saturday of it. We'll give all the dates. It's already up on my socials with the booth number 1074. But we'll be more clear on the dates and more clear on what I have going on at the booth. There will be an In Madness component to this booth as well, and we'll get into that later. There's a piece of this component that Shawn doesn't even know about yet.
Oh, I love surprises, man.
So we will get to that later as well.
Kick ass. And with that, we've done Star Wars. We've done 2.5 years of 2-parter movies, evolving, changing, letting our wings spread as we fly throughout the universe, throughout the galaxies far, far away. We'll see you next Monday on In Madness Pod.